On that note, let's move over to Joe Burrow. And you are the president of the Eli Manning fan club. The Eli Manning Hall of Fame campaign you are the president of. And Eli, of course, refused when he was drafted to play for the San Diego Chargers and forced his way out of that situation.
Yep, he did have some power because he had a daddy who was a quarterback, right? Archie Manning in the NFL.
And a brother who was lighting it up.
Exactly. So he had a little more clout than most people have. John Elway threatened to go play for the Yankees, right? He didn't want to go to Baltimore. Yep. Yes, this is when it was the Baltimore Colts and they were bad. He didn't want to go to Baltimore. He threatened that he would play baseball, and he wound up not going to Baltimore.
Do you think Joe Burrow, who the story, we don't know if it's true. TJ Houshmanzadeh, who I believe is working out with Burrow. So we'll get to he's got obviously some insight on this. We'll talk to him shortly. But the stories, at least, I don't know if they're true, are that Burrow doesn't want to go to Cincinnati. His mother has come out and said she doesn't know where that's coming from.
Yeah, because really, publicly, we haven't seen that. And we really haven't. Even the one quote I saw,
it's just really come from Carson Palmer and the fact that Carson's brother Jordan trains Burrow. And now people are reading into every vague comment Burrow makes as an indictment on the Bengals.
Because he said, and I saw this on the scroll or whatever on television, basically Chris saying, if they draft me, then they draft me. Like, if they, you know what I mean? It wasn't like an endorsement like, I would love to be the number one pick and go to Cincinnati and get this thing turned around. That's not what he said.
Right. It's always been everybody's dream is to
be the
number one pick.
Yeah, very innocuous kind of stuff. And I get that too, because what if somebody if he's all in on Cincinnati and then they trade the pick and he goes to Washington or goes to, you know what I mean?
If they don't pick him, which it seems like they will.
Right. But I think that's why you got to kind of play it a little close to the vest.
So do you think he should, let's just assume, go with the narrative that he really doesn't want to play there. Do you think he should do an Eli?
I don't. I think, we bash the Bengals, Chris, and they deserve it. There's a lot of things wrong with that organization. Mike Brown runs it like a mom and pop store. I get all that. And they haven't won Jack in a long time. But you know what? I don't look at the Bengals the same way as I would look at, say, the Lions, who have struggled, Chris, to make the playoffs. Or the Browns or whatever. Like you can say whatever you want about Marvin Lewis, and I get it. He didn't win. He was there for a long – Chris, he was like the coach for 14 years or something like that. And they made the playoffs 7 times during that run. They just couldn't win a playoff game. And there were a couple games that they should have won, you know what I mean, that they coughed up, and they never won a playoff game for him. But and then let's be honest, when we talk about Super Bowl history, they went to the Super Bowl twice, right?
Look, their history of success is much greater than the team north of them in Cleveland.
Big time.
I mean, in the Super Bowl era, much better. There's no question about it. The playoff run, even though they kept losing, they still got there 7 years under Marvin Lewis. They've been to 2 Super Bowls, to your point. The Browns can't say any of that.
Not at all.
And there's a few other franchises that can't say that. So, we'll get the scoop from TJ. But I'm with you.
We said they went to 2 Super Bowls, right? One with Ken Anderson and one with Boomer Esiason.
Right. And those are named quarterbacks.
We know those guys.
Right. Assuming he doesn't want to go there, I don't think he should pull an Eli. He's from Ohio, right? He's like a 2.5-hour drive from Cincinnati, where he grew up. His dad has a relationship with some of the coaches there. He's viewed as the savior. He went to Ohio State, obviously, didn't play much there, but went to Ohio State. I don't think you do that in your home state. So I don't think he should pull an Eli. I get it. If he wants to give vague comments, show that he's less than enthusiastic about going to the Bengals in hopes that they don't draft him, I'm fine with that. But I think if they do draft him, he'll say the right things and he'll go in there and try to be that team's leader. I really believe that.
I agree with that.
Yeah. Joe Burrow, should he pull an Eli? Or should he show up, be happy he's drafted number 1, and play for whoever
you know what,
drafts him,
Chris?
even if it's the Cincinnati Bengals.
And how about you go out there and make your own legacy? Go
Right,
be the
I
one to
agree.
turn the Bengals around, right? From your home state of Ohio.
Yep.
You be a legend. You went to Cincinnati and turned it around. Why are people so afraid of taking on a challenge once in a while?
I agree with you, Rob. I mean, and let's be honest. San Diego, I mean, they had a nice run under Philip Rivers. Obviously didn't win a Super Bowl, but they weren't, just a mess.
Right.
You know what I mean? You could have went there and been successful. I get it that their history. Baltimore had made some playoff games with Burt Jones, remember him?
Yep.
As quarterback and all that. And obviously the new Baltimore Ravens, who really were the old
Cleveland Browns, right.
Yeah, they've had great success. So sometimes guys, I mean, I get it if you got the leverage, you don't want to go somewhere. But sometimes they're giving these franchises a bad rap that they really may not deserve.
See, I'm with you. As much as we talk about how bad the Bengals are, they make the playoffs. They haven't.
Right.
They've been to the Super Bowl. I
said, the Browns. I mean, they've been way better than the Browns. Let's just call it what it is.
Yes.
Browns haven't been really legit, since Jim Brown.
Wow.
I mean, I hate to say
today's his
it.
birthday too, isn't he?
Was it
84?
Yesterday was Michael Jordan's. Was today Jim Brown?
Yeah, I think Jim Brown today was his birthday. 84. Is that what it is? Oh, it was yesterday too. So he was born the same day, the 17th.
Wow.
Yeah.
Think that's Jim Brown, Michael Jordan born on the same day.
That is amazing.
Who is it? LeBron and Tiger Woods? Aren't they born on the same day?
I think so.
That's incredible.
Yep.
Wow.
All right, 877-99 on Fox. We want to hear from you. Let's start, Chris, with Derek in North Carolina. You're on the Odd Couple, Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Derek?
Hey, what's going on, Chris and Rob? My name is Derek, first-time caller. Love you guys. Love what you do.
We appreciate you, man. The support means a lot to both of us.
Yep.
My pleasure. And also, I want to say this. Look, I'm 35 years old. So if you're, if you're a first-round pick, first overall pick, I feel like you should go there no matter what, in my opinion. I don't like to see these guys want to say, oh, I don't want to go here, I don't want to go there. And then, it's kind of like we babying them. Where is the era where you want to gain respect? Go to the franchise, like you said, and make something and make yourself something. For me, I respect that more. You want to go to that team and make them better yourself instead of saying, hey, I don't want to go here. This ain't the organization. For me, it's like you don't want to accept the challenge.
There you go.
Yep,
I
agree.
Yep, Chris and I agree on this because basically it is guys who just don't want to, it's not all handmade for you. It's some organizations.
Rob, who was worse than the Saints?
No, nobody. They were the Aints. You remember that, Chris? Everybody wore paper bags to the game.
Yep.
Right. They were bad.
Drew Brees goes there, turns them around. The Colts were, again, the same Baltimore Colts that John Elway wouldn't play for. Peyton Manning goes there and wins the Super Bowl.
Right. No doubt about it. There's been, and usually, Chris, you're the number one pick for a reason, right? We talked about that because that's why the franchise was bad and they got the first pick. So very seldom do you go to a great team.
Absolutely.
It doesn't happen like that. It's not like when the Lakers got Magic Johnson, that fluke. You remember that?
Right. Or even the Celtics getting Bird. They drafted him like a year early, right?
Exactly.
You could do that back then.
In those days. All right, what about Tate in South Carolina? You're on the Odd Couple, Fox Sports Radio. What you got, Tate?
Hey, what's up, guys? First-time caller, love your show. And I agree with Rob, which I have to go on record and say that's not often, but I agree with him on this one. Joe Burrow should go to Cincinnati. I mean, when you look at what he has there, I mean, A.J. Green is still a valuable receiver. I realize he's getting some age on him, but I would still put him in the top 10 in this league as a receiver. If John Ross can stay healthy.
If he's healthy, he's a top 10.
Is a good running back.
You have a very good young running back in Mixon. I mean, you have some pieces there. I think he should go there. And I remember, I'm 50 years old, so I remember the back of the days when Sam White had the Bengals, man, and Ferguson and Collinsworth and Ickey, and they had teams, so they've been terrible for a long time, but it hasn't always been that way. And you say who was worse than the Saints? It was probably a neck-and-neck race back then between Tampa Bay and the Saints because they were both terrible.
And you know what? Tampa Bay wound up winning the Super Bowl back then when they had those creamsicle uniforms. You remember that?
Yep.
They did.
That's right.
They did.
We
They
can
did.
go down the line, and there are plenty of franchises that have been woe-begone
And
that at some point in time won the Super Bowl or got there.
Except
or
the
something
Lions.
Like
Except the Lions.
Well, I'm a Raiders fan, so I know what you're talking about.
Right. All right. Appreciate it, Tate. Thanks. How about Frank in Florida? You're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Frank?
What's going on, fellas? How you doing?
Great.
How are you?
Look, I'm doing wonderful. Look, I look at a real parallel between Joe Burrow and Eli Manning. I'm a huge Charger fan when they're in San Diego, not L.A.
Right.
But both of those franchises at the time have never really gone out and spent money to make their franchises better. Who knows if Joe Mixon's going to be there long-term in Cincinnati? What are they going to do with A.J. Green? So I don't blame Eli Manning for not wanting to go to Cincinnati or to San Diego, or Joe Burrow not wanting to go to Cincinnati. They've never shown that ability to go out and put a winner on the field.
The only thing I'll disagree with you is you could say Cincinnati, they did make playoffs. They did go to Super Bowl. It's not like they've been totally shut out and it was just because of penny pinching. They just lost. Joe Montana, when they beat Boomer Esiason, Chris, I think it was, right, was it Boomer or was it, I
think it was Boomer.
Yeah. He threw a touchdown, Chris, with 30 seconds or whatever in the last final minute. That's how they lost the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Wasn't like
right.
they didn't compete or they were terrible. They were right there to win that Super Bowl. So
no question.
No
question.
I'm not buying that Cincinnati's such an awful place and they can't win. I don't believe that.
Well,
we got one more.
We're going to get the scoop from our man, TJ Houshmanzadeh. Okay,
we got one more, though.
Yeah,
we got one more. Let's do Robbie in San Antonio. You're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio.
Hey, thanks for taking my call.
Yes, sir.
Hey, I got a take, man. I bet nobody's going to have a take like this, but I think whether he wants to go there or not, I think it really. I think the demon here is the draft itself. I think that eventually, like America's military draft, the way that has gone, Muhammad Ali or Cassius Clay to Zank, maybe. I think eventually we'll see the death of the draft and hopefully like a rookie free agency signing. Even like Zion Williamson, he was unhappy when New Orleans won that.
So what are you proposing? This free agency for rookies, like you go wherever to the highest bidder?
Well, not the highest bidder. Well, yes and no. So the highest bid should go to the lowest. The worst teams can bid the highest amount. And that should be significant differences between like the first and second and third worst.
But Robbie, let me say this to you. First of all, the draft is illegal. It's only allowed because the players, agree to it when they sign the CBA. So I get what you're saying, where you're forced to go somewhere to work. It's only able to be done because the membership agrees to it. So I understand your point. But to have competitive balance and to have a league, that's the only reason why it's done.
Typical life.
You couldn't do that. Like I get out of college, graduate from Southern Connecticut, and they tell me, "Oh no, you got to go work for the paper in Iowa." You know what I mean? That wouldn't work.
Right.
Well, that's what they're doing here, and you
I
see
think
that.
for sports, it's necessary. It's necessary. I was talking to some NBA executives just yesterday about how, you really got to get blessed. And I know there's a skill to it, and some teams make bad draft picks, others make good ones. But a lot of it, too, is the luck of the draw.
There's no doubt.
And let's say, like we were talking about the Knicks, and they're a mess, right? About to go through a free front office revamping and all that. What if they had gotten, instead of the third pick this year, or this past draft, they gotten first or second? So now they got either Zion or Ja Morant instead of R.J. Barrett. It's a whole different ballgame.
Totally. And we talked about it. Then maybe some other, if you would have got the first pick, maybe somebody, another free agent, you had all that money to spend. It just, they got the worst luck. And then after that, everything else fell apart. So there we are.
Right. Well, let's get to TJ.
All right, let's do it.
Hoosh, how you doing, man? We appreciate you joining us. We know you had some travel issues, I guess, huh?
Yeah, I was randomly searched at the airport like I'm doing something wrong. So, yeah, that kind of helped me up a little bit.
I hear you. Well,
all right, let's get a couple questions.
All right, so you are working out with Joe Burrow. Is that correct?
I wouldn't classify it as working out. I'm out there with him. Yeah.
So you got So you got some type of relationship with him, obviously. What's going on? I mean, we see reports that he doesn't want to play for the Bengals. His
Not
mom
from his
comes out
mouth,
and says, "No, I don't know where that's coming from." What's the real deal there?
Honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you. You know me, I'm gonna keep it real. It's so early in the process, and I'm gonna be honest with you. Me and Joe, the last week, we've talked a lot. We haven't talked about the Bengals one time, and that's no lie. I think it's a wait and see, to see what happens. See how, is it for sure he's going to be the number one pick? Is he throwing at the combine? How does he look at the pro day if he doesn't? I mean, there's so many variables and things that can happen before then. But I'm sure with his father and his representation, they'll figure out what they want to do, whether it's with the Bengals or it's not. But no lie, we haven't even talked about it. Man, what was wrong with this route? Did he go a little deep? Was he short? That's what we're talking about because my receivers are catching balls from him. So we really just on football right now.
TJ, if you were a GM, you had the first pick. Would he be your first pick when you consider the season he had as quarterback, one of the greatest, if not the greatest, ever in college football?
Oh, it's no question. And anybody that says it's not, they're wrong. They're hating.
Really?
They're biased.
Wow.
It's the best college football season we've ever seen from a quarterback. And don't tell me he was playing with great receivers because if I can recall correctly, were any of his receivers slated to go in the first round before the season started?
Not before the season. You 100% right.
Right, exactly. I mean, and I love Tua. I think Tua's going to be a great, great quarterback. He had 2 first-round receivers headed into the season.
Yep.
And then people, I hadn't been on FS1 in a while, so I'm gonna get some things out real quick. So people will say, "Oh, look at what Joe did last year compared to this year." You guys have been in the media for years. If you don't go on and talk about and work on your craft for 3 years, when you finally come back, how are you gonna be?
Yeah,
Right.
not good.
So Joe came out of high school. He didn't play much at Ohio State at all. And so when he finally got his chance to play at LSU that last year, that's what you see. Just getting back into the groove of it. Now when he got really back into the groove, it was this year. So don't give me that jump from this year to last year. All the people in the media, don't work for 3 years and then go back in it and see how it is. I've done that, and it takes an adjustment period to get used to it again.
Right.
TJ Houshmanzadeh joining the I Couple. TJ,
we don't have that much time.
Yeah, this is the last question. But the Bengals, you played 8 years there in Cincinnati. Everyone is talking about them like their franchise is just a mess. We saw what Carson Palmer said. They're not trying to win a Super Bowl. Rob and I are looking back like, okay, they've been to 2 Super Bowls. We know that was a while ago.
Yeah, but they went to 2.
But they made, 7
playoff game with Marvin Lewis. They didn't win a couple of those games they should have. Right. It ain't like they've never had a chance to win or anything. Should we look down on Cincinnati as if they're that bad?
Like as if they're that? Are they by far the worst franchise in the NFL? Because that's how people are talking about them.
No, they're not. But this is how we are when it comes to sports. It's what have you done for me? They have the first pick for a reason.
Right.
When we were there, we had great talent. We just never got over the hump. And when you're playing, you don't look at the top and what's going on. But coaches have changed, players have changed, and they have had good teams, but they haven't gotten over the hump. Why? I don't know. Is Joe that type of guy that I believe can get a team over the hump? I absolutely believe it. But if you can get multiple picks, you'd be a fool not to consider it.
But you don't think that's the place you step into and it's just a mess, and no matter how good you are as a quarterback, you can't win there.
Right.
Chris, I honestly believe every player in this draft believes they are that guy that can go fix a quote-unquote mess if that's what we perceive Cincinnati to be. Everybody, we all have that confidence when you play sports, man. Oh, right. I'm going there and I'm going to fix it.
Yep.
And so you want that challenge because the reward is so great if you do.
All right, great stuff, TJ.
Thank you so much, man. We appreciate you.
On a challenging day, so stay safe out there.
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm just, I'm good, man. It was just a little hiccup. You guys take care, man. And keep doing what you're doing, man. Great show.
Thank you.
All right,
we'll
brother.
see you soon.
Peace.